All right, my name's Randy Hackbart, and I am taking on an ambitious project and sharing it with you today. I decided I would make my mother a Christmas pillowcase, which would involve sewing. Now, an important piece of information. I have not sewn ever in my life. In fact, that's not quite correct. I think about 40 years ago, I made a teddy bear as part of a school project. I actually did really enjoy that. So I have a few projects around the house where a sewing machine could be beneficial and thought, why not get one? So I bought a kit, and it's called the Easy Breezy Pillowcase kit, and they've pre-cut the fabrics, and all I get to do is read a to be simple set of instructions, and then voila, you've got a pillowcase. So these are the instructions. They are handwritten, and I would argue after reading it the first time, Easy Breezy may not quite be an accurate description for a novice. All right, I think I've completed the first step of this, which involves first pressing I'm going to get this name right here, the accent strip in half. I was able to do that okay. And then layering that and the three materials. This is the cuff and then the mane on top of each other. So I can see it's very important to pay attention to which side is up and get that right, or the project is going to be involving the stitch ripper, which is something I am hoping to avoid. And then the second part is, the instructions talk about the orientation of the fabric, and that's the image that we're given. So my wife and I got into this grand debate of which direction should the print be when on a pillow cushion. So it was a long discussion, and as with all things, if you are an intermediate or advanced sewer, you're going to see me make some mistakes. And I'm just going to put that out there right now, that some are going to happen. But I think the print when the pillowcase is on the pillow being vertical is well, we made a decision, and we're going to go with it. And my next step is the most complicated one in the world. I'm going to read this out loud, and I think you're going to smile. You want to make a tube, B, bringing bottom edge of cuff up to meet top edge. To achieve this, roll main fabric up so it will fit comfortably inside tube. Pin bottom edge of cuff in place, lining up with top edge. Stitch across top edge. Make sure that you do not catch any excess fabric in the top edge or seam. And these are the amazing images that come with that. Now, for someone who's never sewn before, this was a middle of a mental one for me to try and figure out, but I think I figured it out. You're making a tube with that top area that when you fold everything inside of itself, all of the sewn ends sit inside the tube. So you don't actually have those anywhere shown. So I think that's what's going to, if I do this right, I think that's what's going to happen. So wish me luck. Okay, so the last instructions I read you. This is the tricky part. So again, I want to make a tube. As you can see here, I've made this little tube that gets described. And then I want to fold this up here. And then I'm going to sew this top edge. And then I'm going to pull it inside out. And then that's going to, the pretty side is going to be on the outside. So the part that I need to figure out is, it's not really explicit in the instructions whether when I pin this to the top edge, whether I do it, repin it underneath or not. That's just my suspicion. So I'm going to make a judgment call here, and then we're going to be ready to do our first sewing piece. Okay, I've made a decision here because they don't talk about tucking it under or anything, and I think this is going to work. So we're going to do this on top, and then I'm going to repin this line, and then we're going to do our first line of sewing. All right, I am back. This is going to be my very first official sewing on fabric since I was a very young man. So we're going to see how this goes. I've chosen white thread on the top and bottom, and the instructions do not say what seam width, so we're just assuming 3/8 because that seems to be a magic number everybody uses, and I can see it means the foot will be in the right place. So got a straight stitch, 2mm spacing. I don't think it matters because this is on the inside. Tight is better. So here goes nothing. right. Well, this is officially my first cut. So I can't wait to the next step. Well, this is the moment of truth where if what I did is correct, then this next step is just going to work. So we're now turning everything right side in. And it's going okay here. So we get to pull the inside stuff out. Okay. Now, this, oh, wow. Okay, this actually looks like it's supposed to. So we now have an edge that's sewn up, and then we've got this part, which is my next step. Let me get the instructions here. So the next step, this did involve a little research to know what this means. Gently pull fabric out of tube, press flat, so I'll do that after this. And then here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Top stitch in the ditch along accent fabric, trim side edges to remove salvage. So top stitch in the ditch, what I think that really means is so right along the edge, like pretty much right at the edge, but not off the fabric. This is going to be the test of my amazing years of skill sewing. We'll see how that goes. Talk soon. Okay, this next step of stitching in the ditch is on the top side, where the fabric, which you can see here, I've actually pressed it, folding it over. You can see that. I'm going to be my interpretation of stitch in the ditch, trying to sew along this edge right at the fabric. It's apparently quite tricky because it involves staying on the right fabric, and also the foot's kind of not evenly on the fabric because it's different thicknesses. So got to put on my red thread, and we'll see how this goes. All right, here we go. So there's some important things. So I'm going to move my needle over to the edge because that makes sense to me, so that I have the best chance of the foot gripping, but I can still go along there. I think it's really cool to have a greater length, so I'm going to adjust it to 4 millimeters. And oh gosh, I don't know. This is just kind of where we go for it. We're going to see how this goes. Make me very nervous. Oh, foot down. Very, very important. So I can see this stitch in a ditch is going to be tough. There. Cut. Okay, I think that's not bad. All right, that went better than I thought. Nice. Talk soon. All right, I am back. So the next part of the instructions read, the rest of the pillow is sewn in a French seam. I had to look that up. French seam is you sew first on the top side, the right side. Sorry, I gotta use the right terminology here. Right side, wrong side. And then you turn it inside out, and then you sew again, and the seams are invisible, but you get a really strong, tight seam. So now we've got some instructions on seam lengths, which is great. So fold in half wrong side together and sew along the side and bottom edge using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Turn wrong side out and press, and then stitch along side and bottom edge using a 3/8 seam allowance. Turn right side out and press, stuffed pillow, sweet dreams. So we're almost there. And Let me get this going, and we'll see where it is. Okay, so I've pinned this together. I'm leaving in the red. The color of the thread doesn't matter here at this point because it's on the inside, but I'm leaving the red thread in just because I think it's kind of cool. So the key part here is a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So okay, so we've got this guy. Needle position. Let's get that back. So 1/4 inch. So this is where I need bifocals. 3/8. Oh, that's tight. Okay. Okay, well, center. So I think 1/4 inch is roughly the foot, if I'm not mistaken. No, the foot is 3/4 inch. See, these are the things you just don't know. So I bet if I do the foot at 3/4 and then I move the needle to the right hand side, I think I've actually got, because that looks roughly, yeah, why not? We're going to say that's approximately right. Okay, so all right, here we go. And stitch width, we're going to move back to 2, oops, because it's on the inside. Okay, we're going to pull out the pins as we go. And here we go. And this is just a matter of keeping a straight line. So I have a confession to make. When my wife and I were on Granville Island, we went into a fabric store because I recently purchased the sewing machine. We thought, let's look at fabrics. And then we saw this really cute pillowcase. And it was bundled in a roll with a nice ribbon around it. And I remember Deb and I thinking, that's a really cool pillowcase to buy Mom. And then we got it home, and to our surprise, which shouldn't have been much of a surprise, it wasn't a ready-made pillowcase. It was a kit. So I actually didn't originally plan on doing this as a kit. I think the universe kind of decided that's what was going to happen, and how I got to this point. So the neat thing is, I actually like that I don't, for my first project, have to deal with cutting of fabrics, and you know, it's kind of a basic kit, kind of like that teddy bear I did when I was in school. The other thing I've learned is as you move forward, the pins want to stick in your fingers. Haven't had any blood yet, but it's gonna happen. Okay. Okay, a brief update here, and this is a good catch and the perfect time to do it. I took a look at the finished project here and noticed that the pillowcase would be about the length of 2 pillows. So you can see if I kind of put a pillow on there, I've got this much excess. Don't recall seeing anything in the instructions, but I caught it on time. So I've actually since then cut off the bottom part, redid the bottom seam. We're ready to go to the next step. Okay, this should be my final set of 2 stitches here. So very excited. So I did what's called the French seam. So I've now turned this inside out here. So wrong side out. And you'll see, so I've got that seam that's folded in, and basically I'm going to be doing another stitch part way down, turn it right side out again, and there we go. We have our pillowcase with all the edges proper. So that's the theory. We'll see how it goes. This edge wants to be 3/8. Foot down, dummy. There we go. All right. Drive a straight line, do my job. turn it right side in. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. One proper pillowcase. Yay. I consider this a success. We'll see if it survives a few washings. Till next time, Randy Hackbart. Talk to you later.